Hello everyone, Ryan here. So, I recently listened to the audiobook version of The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, performed by Bonnie Turpin. And wow, this audiobook, definitely points out a lot of truths concerning important issues like racism, prejudice, stereotypes, also other topics like the inefficiencies of certain government agencies, departments, also the power of protesting. The main character, Star, is this teenage girl, and one night after a party, she leaves with a friend of hers named Khalil, and they're in his car. They get stopped, pulled over by a police officer, and then said police officer demands to see Khalil's license, registration, all that. And he does so, and then while Khalil is waiting outside his car, he's got his hands on top of the roof of his car. He can see that Star is freaking out and panicking. So he walks out, Khalil moves, opens the driver's side door and asks Star, something like, "Are you okay? Are you okay, Star? Are you all right?" He asks her something along those lines. And then after that, something happens where I guess the officer interprets Khalil's actions as being threatening, and the officer takes it upon himself to open fire on Khalil. He shoots Khalil, I believe, a total of 3 times, and Khalil drops to the sidewalk and unfortunately dies from the gunshot wounds. And then that's where the rest of the story takes a dramatic yet interesting turn. I gotta admit, I was expecting this to be like a typical YA kind of novel. And it does have that element to it, because the main character is a teenage girl. A lot of the other characters are teenagers. But also, too, the adult characters are also just as... normally, in the past when I read different YA novels, the parents always come off as being, slightly dumb or ignorant, but in this one, the parents don't come off like that at all. For the most part, there's maybe 1 or 2 of them that do kind of seem that way, but ultimately, pretty much every character in this book are just as complex and intriguing as the next, which really says something to, I guess, really, what's the word? I gotta give big kudos to the author, Angie Thomas, because she really wrote each character very well. She definitely knew what she was doing, and not only that, but she definitely knew how to address such important issues like racism. Not only that, but she knew how to address them in a way so that they don't come off as poking fun at anything or anyone, but just in a very realistic kind of way. And I like that. Now, granted, I will say, if you don't like reading about real important things, important issues, topics that do concern society as a whole, there's a chance you might not like this book. But still, otherwise, in fact, regardless, I do feel like this is one of those books that everybody should read and or listen to at least once, maybe even more than that, but at least once, And not only that, but discuss, talk about. Because now, I mean, especially nowadays, you know, with everything that's been going on lately, all these, it seems like a lot of these old issues, a lot of things that we thought had been eradicated or at least mitigated in large part. Now we're realizing that no, in fact, that's not the case. These things do still exist. And now they're being brought more into the forefront. And it's hard to ignore, you know. We can't ignore these important issues any longer. Eventually something will have to be done. And I believe it's books like these, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, that can definitely help to open up some kind of dialogue. Now, of course, I'm exactly how, I don't really know. But, you know, I mean, just, you know, talking about it, I mean, I feel like, you know, definitely, I feel like maybe later on I might have to do another kind of separate discussion about this book and a lot of the issues it addresses, like a more spoiler-filled thing, because I want this initial review to be spoiler-free, which is why I'm not talking more in detail about the actual story, because, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't read it yet, or listen to the audiobook. But it definitely surprised me. I mean, I kind of knew what to expect before reading it, but I didn't expect that it was going to be so real, so raw, so powerful, thought-provoking. Yeah, ultimately I do give it 5 out of 5 stars all the way. And I don't know what else to say other than I think I will do a separate spoiler talk discussion thing. I don't know what I'm going to call it at a later date. But so yeah, let me know if you read this as well. You know, what are your thoughts on it too? I mean, but of course, please don't spoil anything for, you know, other people who have yet to read it or listen to the audiobook. So let me know your thoughts on it, you know, too, or, you know, let me know your thoughts on, you know, the issues that are addressed in it. So that'll do it for this audiobook review. Once again, I do give it 5 out of 5 stars. And thanks for watching. As always, till next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.